Good afternoon. Afternoon, everybody. Now, hopefully, today, people watching on headphones will be able to hear me properly. I think this is the first time in 2 months that I've live streamed with proper audio, right? So if you're watching it on headphones, let me know everything's okay. So this is what I've been doing. This is my kind of software. You can see here. And in my inputs, I bought this fancy new microphone here, maybe 2 months ago or something. And in this audio, this was checked. So right now, if you're on headphones, you can only hear one there. For 2 months, there's 2 months I had this unchecked for some stupid reason. Anyway, buy a fancy microphone and everything goes to pot. Anyway, good. It's working, is it? You hear something in your right ear. Apologies, guys. I'm a newbie at all this kind of stuff. Hey, Renisha, hope you're well. Okay, let's get into the markets, shall we? And I'm going to start with this pound CAD because I think it's interesting here. There's a few things to look at, but I do like this. This is we're seeing a kind of squeeze. You can see the squeeze into the area. It is counter trend, right? It is a counter trend idea. You look at the daily, it still looks like a corrective. However, within that corrective, firstly, we've come from a decent move, so it could go a little bit more. But we're crossing the 20 now. So this 4 hour, when you're doing a counter trend trade or when you're looking at counter trend, I need it to be you need that real accumulation, that real squeeze into the area. Notice we've got a bearish bar here. That's fine. It's not a problem. Obviously, it's only interesting for me when it breaks above this significant area that I've identified. So I know we've got wicks to the upside here, but I don't really care about that, to be honest. I'm looking at the area that I feel is most respected, and it's clearly, for me, here. So what I'm looking for, and this probably won't be a trade for today, is that real push-up in that 20 period, squeezing into that area. So we've got the context here. Okay, we've got our kind of cup with handle accumulation, very similar to the UK 100, which I'll go into as well. But our context also involves this. So I don't know if you remember me talking about that rising 3 pattern, but we've kind of got it bang on here where we've got our initial bar on high volume here. We've got this bar on higher volume. And within these 3 bars in the middle, we've basically got lower volume. So this rising 3 is known as an igniting pattern. Sometimes, doesn't always work, obviously, but known as an igniting pattern. And I'm just waiting for that real accumulation. So if we put a time on it, this 4 hour goes at 5, 9, maybe another 3 or 4 bars here. So certainly maybe a London session tomorrow. If we can get that, I'll happily place my breakout trade. Stops here. The good thing is our 200 is not in the way. I think there's enough there, you know. I kind of go with my gut a little bit. I know there's a slight hammer on the daily, but the hammer has kind of come from here. So yeah, I kind of like that. I just need a little bit more for that counter trend trade, basically. In pound CAD. SPX, let's go through. Actually, I'll go through Kaizen, NZD CAD. Now, the reason why, I know I was saying to you this morning that this was nice, and it was nice, right? It certainly was nice here. Okay, what it looks to be, maybe this comes back down or whatever, but it looks to be almost a stop punt. You'd expect stops to be there. But what I mean about that 50%, up until this point, it was actually looking quite nice. Now, for me, actually, the CAD is my least favorite pair to trade, without a shadow of a doubt. I don't know if you're watching. I put a video up this morning on my kind of stream and what I went through, and I said that, or my morning scan, not what I went through, my morning scan, the CAD is by far my least favorite pair to trade. But that was a nice digestive period, and one of the reasons why I know there's swings and roundabouts here, but one of the reasons why I don't take breakouts on the smaller time frames. So this, for me, has got to go off now. And unless it sets up where we're getting, kind of had your head and shoulders here, unless you get another one for a breakout retest, I would take that off my list, to be honest with you. The 4 hour was okay. 4 hours okay, but the reason why it wasn't eligible for a breakout trade was because this area, corrective, just wasn't enough. You know, you need a deeper pullback than that for a breakout trade. And we only got to that 23.6. You need to be looking between this 40-60 box for a potential breakout trade. So although you got stopped out, yeah, although I don't think that was a bad trade, Kaizen, to be honest with you, I don't think that was a bad trade. I think you're a little bit unlucky there. Maybe you could have taken the break above, but to be honest, if this was a 4-hour chart, I would have taken that break as well. I would have taken that break. So it's just the CAD. I just don't like the CAD. Honestly, I just don't like the CAD trading it. I am profitable with it. I just don't like it. I just don't like it. Okay, SPX. SPX today could be in line for a possible retracement. We look at our naked Forex setup. We've got a slight hammer here on the daily chart. We have come from a decent impulse. Maybe we come back down, possibly to retest this area. It's still risk on. It's still risk on. You've got to consider where we've come from and where we are. This obviously can't continue. We look at this momentum is probably or maybe coming to an end if we switch it to a line graph. With that daily confluence, that daily hammer, yeah, possibly we come back, retest to continue. And actually, it would probably be more healthy if we do that. So daily is still okay. It's still risk on. You know, I'm not trading the SPX. We're looking at for our risk sentiment. And yeah, maybe we get a slight pullback. 20 period is a little bit extended away. But at the moment, you got to think pullback, buy the pullback for continuation longs in the SPX. So certainly for me, still risk on. Now the dollar has been a mess up until probably the last hour. So if we look at this hourly chart on the dollar, it's kind of nice now. You know, this from this section all the way here, it's no man's land. But because we've got this, it's settling itself out. You've got your morning star here on this previous resistance, on a little bit more volume, breaking out of this structure. Dollar looks quite good to the upside now. And maybe this impulse corrective bottoming pattern or kind of curling pattern on this support zone is now playing out. So if you get a close today above that 220 period, this would look not too bad. Broken out of this trend anchor, this downward trend anchor. You know, I didn't trust it at this point. But now it looks a little bit better. So for me, I mean, also you could be getting this. Looking at it, you could be getting this, right? Neckline, or your neckline would technically be there. Let's put a line on that. Your neckline is technically here for that head and shoulders. But yeah, it looks pretty good. Dollar upside would be my bias now. And this is one of the reasons why I stopped doing my outlooks. It's because things change so quickly. You know, this bar changes your momentum a little bit. This bar changes, this bar changes, this bar changes. And that's one of the reasons why I don't like doing those outlooks anymore, because you could watch it on a Friday and I said something on the Monday and my bias is completely changed. So I kind of thought, man, I don't really think that's appropriate anymore. Why don't you like CAD even if it's supported by rising? I don't know, man. I just don't like it. I find it very difficult to trade. I mean, look at this, the trade I got stopped out in yesterday, CAD Swiss, right? So if we think about this from a fundamental point of view, this CAD Swiss, firstly, it's a nice setup. Okay, I talked about it on our live, I think. Pullback, tag the 200, steady state retest, bullish engulfer on volume, right? For me, I know we got the 200 there, but we tagged it, so I consider those orders to be filled. Now, fundamentally, we think about where we were yesterday. Gold was falling, right? So the Swiss has obviously a high reserves of gold. Swiss currency has a correlation with gold prices. So if gold's falling, you'd expect the Swiss to suffer a little bit. Oil's strong. Oil's been an uptrend. You'd expect the CAD to benefit from that. Okay. Not only that, we've got risk on. So risk on should more benefit the CAD than it does the Swiss in terms of the commodity currencies. So everything about this trade fundamentally should mean it goes up. Right? The only thing that I saw doing a kind of trade review on it is potentially from this impulse to the downside, we were getting that 50% pullback. So we put a fib from this impulse, basically a 50% pullback here and continuation to the downside. So again, yeah, I'm not going to say that was an unlucky trade. I don't think that was an unlucky trade. I think that was just a loser. You know, Bitcoin and pound Aussie, I would consider a little bit unlucky. But with that one, maybe we needed a bit more on this daily chart. to account for this move to the upside. And we move on CAD Swiss. Sorry, where was I? So I've done NZD CAD, I've done Pound CAD, Euro Swiss. Euro Swiss I kind of liked, but again, I think it's moved. On this 4 hour, I was looking at potential breakout. Got no context here. We got our V, but I needed a little bit more here. Dropped to the downside, looking for a retest, but I feel like it's moved a little bit. So the context here again was good. Fight head and shoulders, bigger V reversal, digesting this impulse to the downside, breaking through, and possibly it's gone a bit too far. Maybe a complex corrective back. But yeah, another one that unfortunately is gone past me. Daily again was good. Correcting through time here. Good catalyst here on that 20 period and moving down. So the health of this daily chart was nice. You know, the health of that daily chart was nice. You notice how it was different from NZD CAD and all that. This is a nice trending market. So yeah, unfortunately, it just seems to have gone. USD CAD is also good. Yeah, USD CAD is on my list, Rohan. Dan, how you doing, mate? Here's a freebie. Take a look at gold and how that double bottom on the 30-minute is holding the 200 EMA. Have a look at gold. All right, let's have a look at it. Double bottom. Yeah. I mean, yeah. The best, if you've read the book Naked Forex, which is a great starter book, the best double bottoms go like this, right? Slightly higher than your initial bottom. What I would worry is this turns into something like this, continuation to the downside. So, of course, it can go up, right? Of course, that can happen. I don't like this particular price action. It's more bearish to me than bullish. Certainly, if you break out underneath that wick, right? But you need, I need a little bit more. Need a little bit more for me to push on. But you could be right, mate, yeah. Yeah, if it fits your plan, that's why we use stop. Yeah, exactly. Fits your plan, then it doesn't really matter what I say, right? If you've got your plan, if you've got your edge, and you trade double bottoms, you've kind of got your hammers and bullish pressures coming in. So absolutely, it could go up. To be honest, gold has been, how do you trade this? Like, how do you trade that? I don't even know how you trade that. Breakout from a trend line trader, maybe. For me, it's just an absolute mess. So I don't know who's winning the gold competition. I need to put the entries in, but see my target, 17.99. Yeah, 17.99. Oh, 17.99 up here. Maybe, Dan, maybe. Very clean red bars to eat up from last night. Yeah. I mean, look, I'm not going to say this is going down or going up because I don't have a bias on it, to be honest. I don't have a bias on it. Looking at it daily. Yeah. On the daily, the uptrend, it looks a bit cleaner, makes a bit more sense, right? Makes a bit more sense. You're still got that 200 to contend with. 20 period is curling up. I mean, I do think looking at that daily, forget the smaller time frames, you're probably maybe expecting it to get up to there at some point, up to that big resistance area, unless it breaks through and falls down, depending on what the dollar's doing as well. So, yeah, why not? Why not, Dan? What's the worst that can happen? You can lose one trade. You missed your USD ZAR breakout. USD ZAR. USD ZAR. That wasn't that bad, Kaizen. Is that what you were looking at, I presume, right? That's all right. AB, shallow C, push through. Yeah, I imagine you'd be quite annoyed if you're there. You'd have hit TP1 already. Let's look at the higher time frame confluence. Yeah, your higher time frame confluence was there. It's not a breakout trade for me, but that higher time frame confluence is pretty good. Certainly, if you're taking it on smaller time frames, retest of the area. Kind of got your moving average cross there. Pull back, impulse. Yeah, it's quite healthy. That's quite healthy. Daily is healthy. Your OBE here, I presume it's on that trend line, pushing up. Yeah, that was not bad. Unfortunately, you missed it, guys. But the good thing is there, you've identified a trade which can potentially move quite well. So yeah, okay, you missed it. You know, you're going to miss it. You're going to miss some trades, unfortunately. But what you've done well, and I missed this morning, I could have put that on my watch list. I wouldn't have taken a breakout. I would have taken a breakout retest. But you've identified a market which is potentially ready to move quite well. You know, very different to that USDR stuff. So take the positives from it. Take the positives from it. So well done. Well done, Kaizen. The trades, you seem to be getting better, no? The other trades you were taking before, from what I saw, were ones that I'm like, I'm not really, wouldn't be too confident about that, but that's a lot better. So well done. Darren, what do you think about taking two different sides of position against the same currency? Example, CAD Swiss long and Aussie Swiss short. It is suggestible if both charts set up. Yeah, I don't mind that, Darren. So CAD Swiss long, so commodity against risk off. Yeah, that makes sense. And Aussie Swiss short. I mean, for me, if you were going, for example, okay, let's say you had okay, let's go CAD, right? So you've got CAD Swiss, CAD Swiss long, and then you've got CAD Aussie long. That would make sense to me. Yeah, I mean, Darren, it makes sense. If you've got a setup, right? Take the setup. It would make more sense if you're playing the commodity currencies together and then your other trade is against the risk-off currencies, if you get what I mean. But it does make sense, and I would do it, yeah. If I get the setup there, I would do it. It would just make more sense if you had, it's easier to say the Aussie, but if you're buying the Aussie yen and you're buying the Aussie New Zealand, that's okay. I would be a little bit worrying if I was selling the Aussie New Zealand. No. If I was selling the Aussie, I don't know. Yeah, it makes sense. I'm trying to figure out what I'm trying to say, but it makes sense. Anyway, it makes sense. Bitcoin, is it holding? I'm not even getting into my pairs here. So pound CAD, hold on. Let me just do the final one I'm looking at here is USD CAD, which Rohan touched on, which I think is gone a little bit. So this was okay on the 4 hour. Right, this is okay on the 4 hour. Looked quite good. Kind of basing structure. Bend at the end of the trend, potentially. Dollar looks a little bit strong. The setup here was good. Look at it, head and shoulders. Big V reversal. We've digested that V reversal with a nice accumulation period. Within that accumulation period, you've got your ABC. You've got C wave here. This is a nice C wave that I presume is coming on increasing volume. Yep, there you go. And you move to the upside. So slight fake, okay? And you could have taken that to the upside. You could have been in that. You probably would have still been in it if your stop was under there. But it was a decent move. Retest is probably a bit far gone. So if you're in it, then it's nice. I did have it on my list. So I did have it on my list here. You can see USD CAD. Long, but it just didn't really set up for me. Didn't retest for me. But good trade. Good trade. Aussie Swiss is another I'm looking at. Aussie Swiss, Bitcoin I'm looking at. I was looking at Bitcoin shorts. It's all over the place, this stream, because you're just asking me questions. But anyway, it's good. Dan, what kind of trade setups do you like? So I trade breakouts on the 4 hour and daily, and I trade the breakout retest on the 30-minute 1 hour plus. Okay, so in simplified forms, I look for three contexts, right? Three contexts prior to a break. The first is the simple head and shoulders. You know what that looks like. The second is the cup with handle, but preferably the cup with handle within the cup with handle. And third is the V reversal. V reversal, accumulation or pullback, breakthrough. Right? So if I see these with a little bit kind of more, I would say a bit more sauce on the 4 hour for a breakout. For example, you've got a kind of V reversal reload here. this wouldn't be a breakout for me, but it would be a breakout retest. So for a breakout, I would need a little bit more prior to that break. Okay, so for my breakout retest, I need any of those three contexts that I like, and then I also add in two retests that I like. So I like the steady state and I like the ABC. Okay, so if I get a breakout of an area, let's say we've got our cup with handle, whatever, nice context. If I get a steady state, ideally on lowering volume, okay, that's good. Or I get an ABC, again, ideally on lowering volume. And then on that retest, on that area, I like to see a catalyst on high volume. So my catalyst being my simple chart patterns, my hammer, engulfer, morning star, whatever it is, rising 3, on high volume, on that retest, after your context, blah, 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 push through, take that to the upside. That's essentially what I like to see in simplified form. Breakout retest and a breakout in the 4 hour. So Bitcoin, I was looking at short, sorry. Not a breakout, but I'm looking for a breakout retest here. I know Bitcoin's been on a move to the upside, but what I was saying this morning is that when it gets to these areas, okay, if you've looked on your social media, you know, the crypto market goes wild, right? You're getting all the stuff saying, look, Bitcoin's at 65, buy it, buy it, buy it, right? And then you get what I would consider the inexperienced people buying Bitcoin at 65K. You know, you should be buying Bitcoin here. You should be buying Bitcoin here. So if you put yourself into the mind of that person, right, who doesn't really know what they're doing, and there's a lot of them in the crypto market, let me tell you, a lot of them in the crypto market. When they see, they say they bought it here on all-time highs, when they see this happening, and this could generally be an ABC complex corrective, pull back to this area, maybe the 40-60 box, what's going to happen to them? They'll be thinking, oh shit, look at my money going down. I just invested my life savings in Bitcoin because this person online told me buy Bitcoin, it's going to 100K by Christmas. Comes down, they start to panic, right? And this is why sometimes you get a decent reaction when things like this happen in Bitcoin. So for my mind, if we get it, I'm not sure we're going to get it or not in this 4 hour in terms of a breakout retest. There's an argument there that we could pull back to this 40-60 box before continuation to the upside. The overall bias is up in Bitcoin. It has to be, you know, it has to be. But if you get a setup there, it wouldn't be a bad thing to move. And if it does come down to here, us as decently knowledgeable retail traders, you're thinking this is buy zone. People are buying here thinking, shit, I'm exiting out of positions, you know? So potentially a breakout retest on Bitcoin makes sense for me. And you never know. You know, you never know. It could end up having a bit of a deeper corrective from those all-time highs because the overwhelming consensus right now is Bitcoin has to rise, which always puts a little bit of doubt in my mind. Don't go with the masses. Be smart in them. And if you're looking to buy on a dip, then yeah, wait for something down here to potentially buy it on. Please don't laugh at me, but how are you drawing on your charts? Oh, it's a thing called Epic Pen. Here, this is all I use. It's a free little software. That's what I use. No problem. That's the MetaTrader, yeah, MT Poor. I've never been a TradingView guy, to be honest with you. I've used TradingView, but I don't know. This is how I always learned. This is how I was taught, and for me, it's my comfort zone. You know, so yeah, MT4. Bitcoin by the value, yeah, correct. Bitcoin's going to 100K. I mean, like I said, I would give somebody my house if it goes to 0 rather than 100K. I would bet my house on it. Put it that way. It's just a matter of when. It's just a matter of when. Okay, so sorry. The last one I've got on my list. Is this Aussie Swiss. Now this is not for today, but potentially for maybe early on next week. We've got our larger reversals kind of coming off a wee bit now. If it gives us a complex for a potential breakout on Aussie Swiss, I would kind of like that. I like where the daily is. Again, a higher time frame confluence. We come out of this descending channel here. Could look decent for a movement to the upside, potentially. The breakout would be above that 200. Kind of got a decent engulfing bar, a little pullback here, flirting with breaking that 200 again. for movement to the upside. So Aussie Swiss potential for next week. Can you review USD Mexican, Rohan's favorite pair? USD Mexican. Okay, I'll do that, mate. How's everybody's trading going? I am sitting on, I think I'm sitting on 4% at the moment. I'm a little bit disappointed with my trading this month, I have to say. I think, what am I doing? Trading month, trading view. I think I should have made more. I think I should have made more. But hey, I can't complain with 3 or 4%, right? Can't complain with 3 or 4%. I do that for the next two months, and I'll end up being plus 20% for the year, and I'm perfectly happy with that. USD Mexican. Let me look at the higher time frames first. I presume you're looking on the how do I zoom out here? Which direction are you looking at, Rohan? You asked me, yeah, review. I mean, you could be getting maybe on that. It's on that 200. You could be getting a reaction here. Doesn't look great for longs, to be honest with you. I think the hourly looked okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to work bloody trading view. I mean, yeah, you're breaking out here. You've still got that 200 to contend with. That's not a bad bar. Dollar index looks quite good. If you take this as a larger structure, I know it's not really clear on my charts, but sorry, I don't really use trading view. Yeah, makes sense, Rohan. Makes sense. If your stop's here, I would just watch that 200, but with the dollar where it is, yeah, it would make sense. Yeah, it would make sense. USD Mexican, but you are counter trend, right? You are counter trend. Excuse me. My gold trade is in profit. Good stuff. I bought Shiba. Oh, sorry. And who cares? That's only a 30% rise at this point. Far more interesting to see the smaller cryptos where you can make a decent returns. Yeah, I think the alt market is due for a run. You know, I like Ethereum, although it's coming off right now, so it has to go off my list. I think the alt market is due for a run. It would be a bit worrisome though if this takes and it holds. You know, if you're getting a pullback, it just, you know, if you're getting a pullback, just buy the pullback. You know, it's not really not complicated with crypto for me personally. Same with Bitcoin. Like the crypto market is now at the point where it's a little bit settled, right? It's not obviously stock market and Forex market and all that kind of stuff, but it ain't going to zero. You know, just use your technical analysis. For example, here, use your ABC knowledge, right? And potentially buy it. I mean, with Bitcoin, if we used our knowledge of impulse, loss of momentum, and harder reset, you could have been in here. You know, impulse, loss of momentum, harder reset, decent place to buy. You know, ABC, you come down, you get a something in this 40-60 box, just buy it. Just do yourself a favor and buy it. I blew up my FTMO account. Oh, shit. Sorry, Dan. It's a bummer. I know how that feels, my friend. I know how that feels. Can you analyze? Yeah, I've done gold, Mercury. If you scroll back to the start of the video, I did gold. I think gold's a mess. To be honest, it's not something I would be trading right now. I think silver looks a bit better, right? I think silver looks a bit better. Maybe. Yeah, this silver C could be potentially setting up for me. Something like this. The chart's a lot cleaner than gold, right? You've got your standard anchor to your downtrend here. This chart is obviously quite nice for quite a while. Impulse, corrective impulse. Potentially changing trend. So something like that, I would be happy to take silver to the upside, because in which case you'd also get your longer H&S. But gold, I mean, gold, I don't know what you would say with gold. I don't know what you'd say. My bias would be to the downside. You know, I'd be looking for something if we put this on it. And I know I'm going against you here, Dan, but this is just my opinion. If you put this on it, I would be looking for something like this. You know, breakout retest, move to the downside. You've had an impulse, got your pullback, slight reaction here. Yeah, that's what I would be looking for anyway, to be honest. Daily and 4 hour long. Yeah, it makes sense. I like the 1 hour, Rohan. I like the 1 hour. Going with the masses in Bitcoin predictions is like going in a trap here. When everybody starts talking about it is when I worry a little bit about it. So yeah, I think now that's happened, you have to be looking at pullback entries. So that's why I like the idea of getting that breakout retest on this 4 hour for continuation. I just like the idea. I think there has potential in that move. I just buy higher time frame double bottoms in an uptrend. Yeah. Have we done Bitcoin? Yeah, we did Bitcoin last week, guys. Bitcoin last week. Yeah, Mohammed won it. So we've done SPX, we've done DXY, done Bitcoin and gold. I need to write everybody's. I've not done that yet. I just need to write everybody's answers down. Oh, I've not reviewed my open trade. Let's have a look at what UK 100's doing. UK 100 was a nice trade, taking TP1. Now, unfortunately for me, tomorrow is my profit split day on FTMO, which is the worst thing about FTMO, to be honest with you. So I'm trying to get it to change it because I've never had the problem yet. But if this ends up going and I have to take out because of this bloody profit split day, I'll be so annoyed. But we seem to be on, I don't know if everybody's in this or some maybe from A1 or RTFX. Link down below, by the way, free for 7 days, RTFX Discord or website. It looks to be we potentially are having a retest now. It's not a retest that I particularly like, but it seems to be a potential retest nonetheless. Look at smaller time frames, decent little rejection bar here, albeit I didn't expect this bearish move to happen. If we can get some real rejection here, creating a possible V reversal, because nothing's changed from the daily and weekly confluence, right? It's still great. I still really like it. That would be good. The better thing about it is if we've created an anchor here and we do push on, I can move my stop there to break even, and which becomes a guaranteed profitable trade. So UK 100, I'm just sitting on my ass waiting for it to move, which is the hardest / easiest thing you can do, right? Have we done, because it's struggling to break these lows on gold and there's been some uncomfortable price action in the crypto space, I'm anticipating a shift in the money flow to commodities in the New York Open. Yeah, maybe. I just, for me as a price action trader, Dan, I would be looking short just because of where it is. But I don't know. You know, I don't want to predict that gold market. I don't want, you could be right. You could be right. You could be wrong. Doesn't really matter as long as you've got your stats to back it up, your maths, your payoff ratio, your average drawdown, you know your edge, what your edge is, and you'll come out at the end of the year with that edge. Doesn't matter, right? One trade is irrelevant. Complaining about getting paid out first. Yeah, I know. Sorry, mate. No, but it is because if I do, it'll annoy me, because if it does end up going on, I'll be like, shit, I've lost out in X amount of money, and I might not get another trade like that. For example, if it goes like a Swiss yen trade, I'll be like, oh, it just fucking annoyed me. I can't believe that. Anyway, I won't complain, guys. I won't complain. Have you blown an FTMO account as well? Oh, I'm retaking the challenge now with a swing account instead of normal. I think I failed maybe about 20 times, 15 times before I got my first 100K. But I was stupid. Like, I was taking FTMO challenges when I shouldn't have been taking FTMO challenges. Like, I was nowhere near ready. I was nowhere near ready to take them, but I was just doing it because it's like, if I get the 100 grand, my mind was like, if I get the 100 grand, I'll trade differently. You know, I won't be doing the stupid things that I used to do and blowing up accounts and making silly over trading. I'm like, I'll have that money, so I'll be a proper trader. Obviously, it didn't work that way. Firstly, it took me ages to actually pass the thing because I was always aiming for that 10%. And as we know, 10% is fucking difficult. Excuse my language on the screen, but it's fucking difficult for real traders. Right? I'm sitting on 4% this month, and you know, it could have been a double-digit month, but 10% in 1 month is difficult. That's where they make their money. It's for sure it's where they make their money. The thing that shifted for me when I did it, so I did my mentoring. I guess, Dan, I haven't seen you before, so I guess you're new. So I did my mentoring. This was about 2 years, I would say 2 years into my trading journey. I stopped for 2 months, got myself a mentor, a guy called Mark Bennell, who I don't know if you guys know Forex Signals, but he works for Forex Signals. Unbelievable trader. Did my mentoring with him for 6-7 months or something, and back tested. And then the first one I did after that, I got a free repeat. And then I think 2 or 3 times after that, I passed it and I passed my verification. The second one I got was this year. So I did that one live on my website, not on YouTube at that point, but I did that one live. It took me 6 months. And right now, I'm on my 200K one. It took me 6 months to pass the challenge, by the way, and then I passed the verification in 1 month. On this one, I've failed 3 times. I haven't started my new one yet. I failed 3 times. I haven't started my new one, but I think I might start it next month. But it's. I cannot wait until I don't have to do an FTMO challenge anymore. It's a pain in my arse. Like it's different from real trading. But I know I want to get it. Like it's that goal, you know, that goal you have in your head. So my goal now is like I want 400, and it's pissing me off that I can't get there. I can't get there because it's 10%. You know, it's just like just lower it by something or give us 60 days to get 10%. You know, I get making it difficult because you think about the 200K account. It costs $1,300. Yeah, okay, fair enough. You get the money back if you pass it, but think how many people are doing that and failing challenges. They're making bank through the challenges. But I guess it's the price you have to pay for the funded equity. You're on your last day of the challenge. Oh no, the sad face is not a good sign, Renisha. How do you get a time extension? The only time you can get a time extension is if let's say if you're doing a challenge, right? And something happens in the middle. Let's say you have to go back to the UK. You can email them on that day and say, listen, I'm going back to the UK. Can you pause my challenge or my verification or whatever it is by a week? So they'll stop you doing it for a week. They say, okay. And you just pick up a week later. So they're actually pretty good with that. I've done it before. They're still stamping. Yeah, Dan. It's kind of it's a give or take scenario, right? They're probably with my funding talent, right? MFF, my Forex funds, I think it's my Forex funds. They're certainly up there with the most legitimate in the industry. But as real traders, the 10% is a nightmare, right? It's a nightmare. So. Yeah, there's pros and cons of it, mate. There's pros and cons. But once you get your account, and you get a little bit of a buffer ahead. So whenever my kind of strategy is when I get the account, reduce my risk, because I'm normally a 2% risk trader. So I reduce my risk, get a little buffer, so that 10% drawdown is obviously increasing, and then go back and increase my risk. Because you don't want to go through the whole bloody process and let's say I risk 2%, I lose 5 trades in a row, which can happen, and I lose the whole account, you know, which I couldn't handle. If I did that on the 200K and I lost it, I'd be like, no, I'm not doing it anymore. I can't be bothered. Done, finished. Challenge torn your mind. Yeah, it is. It's psychologically difficult. The challenge, psychologically difficult, very. My Forex funds, yeah. So they're the next one I'm going to do, Kaizen. My Forex funds. But then don't they have 5% in a month for the next one? So I'm sure somebody told me in my Forex funds you've got 8% in the first month, right? And then if you pass that, you have 6% in the next month, which is quite difficult. So the FTMO second verification is 5% for 2 months, which is doable. I mean, obviously it's doable. Yeah, how do you get a free repeat? So Renisha, if you pass everything apart from the getting the 10%. So for example, you don't lose 5% in a day, you don't lose 10% overall, but you gain money. So let's say you make $100,001 if you're doing a 100K account. As long as you have that $1, then you get a free repeat, right? And you've traded for a minimum of 10 days. So what my strategy with the challenge is aim for that free repeat. And let's say I make, like I have this month, maybe 4%. So I'm on four grand. In that last couple of days or last week, I just go for it. So I've got $3,999 to play with. If you make a bit more, 5%, you have a bit more. And I just kind of go for it. Just take trades and hopefully get lucky. And that's the way that I've passed. I lost my FTMO account. Oh, shit, man. Yeah, the thing is, when you first get that, it's so exciting, right? It's so exciting to get that account. So you're like, shit, I want to trade. I've got 100 grand now. I want to trade. But it's really probably the best thing is to take a week off. Take a week off and just, right, not going to do anything. But also, Dan, what I would say is learning from that. You always learn from this shit, right? As you go on, you always remember, I'm not doing that again. I'm not doing that again. I'm not doing that again. It's about that kind of experience as you go on, about the things. I guess it's, the guy online did a really good quote the other day, Burns, where it's, some people are good traders because they've been really bad traders for a long time. They're just kind of sick of being bad traders. And that resonated with me because that was me. I was just sick of being a terrible trader, that I started to do the right things because I remember the pain that I felt from losing all this money and all that crap that you go through trying to be a good trader. 10 to 20% of getting is really harder. Yeah, it's difficult, Rohit, but just think about it from an annual basis. Think about your 10 to 20. Think about your 20% from an annual basis and not from a monthly. I know you're talking about the FTMO, but in terms of real trading and in trading, trading for a longer term, it kind of makes your one trade irrelevant. Okay, so it kind of makes this UK 100 irrelevant. So whatever happens will happen. I know I've got my edge, and that edge should play out over an annual period, a quarterly period, and that's it. That's it. Totally agree. Losing the account was actually, yeah, it was horrible. I think I need some mentoring. Mentoring was good for me, yeah. Mentoring was good for me, Dan. It's just mindset. It's just psychology. That's what trading comes down to. What I do is not difficult, right? It's not. Well, I mean, I don't think it's difficult. But it's all down to psychology and just being patient. And a big thing for me was being more selective, trading less. You read the book Market Wizards. So the Market Wizards book, you haven't read it, you have to read it. It was obviously interviews with market wizards, and a lot of those guys said, trade less, be more selective, trade less, makes a massive difference. Recommend, yeah, my guy was, you have to be a member of Forex Signals. So I was a member of Forex Signals back a couple of years ago now, 2017, I think. And I did my mentoring through him. He would need 2 years experience. So the people he takes on, you need 2 years experience to do it. And he is quite expensive. I think he was about $3,500 for mentoring. But in terms of the money I've saved, it was probably money well spent. Yeah. Good advice on trading less. Yeah, trading less. Selective. Get your watch list. Get your watch list here. Do something like this. Stick to these pairs. Right? Stick to these pairs. That's all I need to look at today. That's all I need to look at. And if nothing comes up, then nothing comes up. And it also allows me to risk 2%. So I like the idea of 2% because my mind goes to, again, I always think about bigger accounts. So when I get to my 400K, which I will get to at some point, right, my 2% means I'm risking 8K per trade. So if I get a Swiss yen at 4R like last month, 816.20, that's 32K. So that for me is when I always think about the bigger picture. The bigger picture for me is always gives me that motivation, and that's why it keeps drawing me back to that 200K in the FTMO because of this number here. You know, that placing that on a trade. You know, I'm guessing that a big thing this guy taught you was to make your trades on the higher time frames. Yeah, yes and no. It was kind of something that he helped me develop. So one of the things he did was he kind of, I wouldn't say psychologically evaluates you, but he kind of does. He gets you to do your trading plan and you understand what you like and what you don't like, what resonates with you and what doesn't. So for me, now, I mean, I like trading breakouts in the 4-hour. I actually like having bigger stop losses. I used to put, if I had a breakout retest, right? If I had a breakout retest on the 30-minute 1 hour, my stop loss used to be underneath the candle, which a lot of the times would come up and then continue in that direction. So now it's at the previous swing. So if I've got this, it's at the previous swing here, and it allows me to, although I haven't won breakout retest in a little while for some reason, but it allows me a little bit of room and a higher win rate to let that move. So what was your question? So yeah, it's about finding out your stats, man. That made a big difference. And once you see those results, it took me a month. It honestly took me a month when I changed. It kind of changed everything in 1 month for some reason, and things just clicked. And I haven't done anything stupid for a long time. I haven't over-risked. I haven't blown an account. Obviously, I can't do that with FTMO, but yeah, I haven't done anything stupid for a long time. I mean, I'm pissed. I get pissed off with the markets. The summer was horrible. I get pissed off with the markets, absolutely. But I just don't do stupid stuff anymore. Ryan Croach, some people are a good trader because they're a bad trader. Yeah, yeah, that's me. Thanks for the Bitcoin. I mean, if you're not in profits right now, you might as well just have a laugh. Yeah, summer was terrible. Yeah, yeah. I think next year, I was on 36% before summer. 36%. I thought I was gonna have my best month ever, or my best year ever, and it all came crashing down. So I think I'm stuck on about 16. I was struggling with overtrading, but with the help of Ryan's advice to be selective. Good stuff, Rohan. I appreciate that. Hi guys, like the stream. that was a good. I enjoyed that live. So if you can like the stream, get me to 10 likes. I think there's 18, 20 people watching that. That would help me out, grow the channel, get to that 1,000 sub position. And if you're interested, Discord and website links down below. All right, guys, I enjoyed that live. Thanks for coming on, chatting with me. I had fun there, and I'll see you guys on Friday, where the gold winner will be announced. All right, guys, take care. Trade safe. Peace.